Hi, my name is Brandon Watt, and this is my presentation for Silver Expo 2020. The title of my presentation is From Pauper to Prince, My Leadership Experience. I decided to use this title in a Disney theme because I think it's important to see the growth from when you first begin leadership to where your end goals are. As a pauper in leadership, you don't have very much leadership knowledge, and you're not sure how it can affect your life. But as a prince, you've already seen some facets of how it affects your life, and you've already begun growing into the position. I didn't want to use the term king because the king symbolizes the end of something, and I don't think my journey in leadership will ever be able to end. So I hope you enjoy my presentation. My first slide is entitled Reaching Goals Like Li Shang. In Mulan, we see Li Shang take a group of untrained men from different outlying villages, and he transforms them into one of the best units that China has ever seen. He does this through setting goals and through helping his team reach the goals and not just leaving them by themselves. Like Li Shang, I had a personal goal and a professional goal when I began the Silver Leadership Challenge. My personal goal was realizing the importance of communication. So in the past, I've had some problems with communication because of the way that I talk, but also through getting my point, my opinions, and my ideas through to other people. I've realized sometimes that I don't always have the smartest thing to say, or what I say is not the most effective, but that's something that I wanted to work on throughout my time in Silver Leadership. For my professional goal, I wanted to work on building my brand. By building my brand, I mean that when someone looks at me, I want them to realize what I stand for and like what I've accomplished and what I'm made of. So when someone looks at me, I want them to know that I'm a person that they can look up to, that I've worked hard for where I'm at, that I love to help others be successful, that I love to serve others in the community, and that these communal bonds and these relationships is what makes a part of me, that I'm not just myself, but that I also rely on others to help keep me in the loop. So the picture on the left is a photo of when I served on the state board for community college SGAs. This really helped in building my brand within the community college system, which is where I hope to hold a career eventually. And the picture on the right is when I graduated from the Student Leadership Development Program, which is also a community college program that selects the top 30 students in the state for rigorous leadership training. So going through both of these organizations, I learned that I have what it takes to be a great leader, and that I have what it takes to have a great brand that I can show to people, and that people can know me for. And through this, I've learned that communication is very important to building my brand. So if I want to build a great brand, I have to learn how important it is to communicate effectively. This slide is entitled Growing Like Prince NAVEEN. In Princess and the Frog, in the beginning, we see that Prince NAVEEN, he likes to have fun, he likes to woo the ladies, he kind of messes around, he's not a very serious character. While throughout the film, he goes through a lot of stages of growth that makes him worthy of Tiana's love in the end. Like Prince NAVEEN, I also went through some growth through my leadership experience. My personal growth, I learned that it's okay to say no thanks. So I'm a person, I like to say yes to every opportunity. I like to put myself out there. I like to have my hand in everything. And I didn't realize how much that was taking out of me as a person. When they say that, you scrape too much, or you scrape a little bit of butter over too much toast, that's kind of where I was at. And I realized working with my coaches that it's okay for me to say no thanks, every once in a while, and that I don't have to be a part of everything, and that I don't have to, say yes to everything. I don't have to accept every opportunity. My professional growth that I experienced was I learned to trust the process. So I used to like to work alone. I like to do things by myself, so that way I could get them done the way that I wanted them to be. Well, working in a team, I learned that each person is responsible for their own things, and that there's a process of working in a team that you have to trust, and I just can't jump over the process. I have to wait for people to turn things in, and I have to wait for them and give them the opportunity to do their part of it before I can do mine, or before we have some sort of positive outcome. My academic growth that I experienced was that I learned that education is for everyone. So I'm 27, I'm an adult student, and I've always kind of thought that I was the odd one out because I was older, like I was an adult student. And I never really felt like my place was necessarily anywhere, and that I was just unconventional, and um, couldn't really have a say in the student population because I was an adult student. I learned that this was not the case at all, and that anyone can learn, and that learning is a never-ending process, and you learn every single day of your life. Um, and just because I decided to get my degree years after I graduated high school doesn't make me any more or any less than someone who went to college right after high school. The picture on the left is me and my RHA team at the NACER conference at Louisiana State University. We went there, we got to network with other colleges from across Mexico, Canada, and the US. We got to kind of see how other things were ran. And it was a huge learning experience for me. Definitely a growth opportunity. The picture on the right is when I went to the NACAR conference with my student peers from UNCG at UNC Charlotte, and we got to network with other schools in the state and kind of see how they ran as well. This slide is entitled Engaged with the Community Like Hercules. In the movie Hercules, we can see that he is very engaged with his community. He's constantly helping them out with things they need. He's saving them from monsters like the Cyclops and the Hydra. He's just an overall great guy that people love to be around. My service area that I decided to work with was the church. So at the church, I helped with yard work. I got to attend some of their services. We planted some new flowers and a tree. But for me, this was also a learning and growth experience because I wanted to come to terms with my faith and sexuality. So as a Christian gay man, a lot of places are not very accepting. Like, they give you the choice to be one or the other, and you can't really be both. And that's not necessarily true. You can be Christian and you can be non-hetero as well. And so for me, this was a journey on finding kind of where those two identities matched for me. Another challenge that I faced was after being at the church for so many hours, they were kind of running out of things for me to do. It was a very small church located out in the country, so they didn't really have that many attendees either. Overall, this was a great experience for me, though. The picture on the left, you can see me and my RHA team when we were handing out free ice cream to students. So we were helping, serve the ice cream and serve the community. The picture on the right was when I was the communications coordinator, co-facilitator for the Student Leadership Development Program after I had graduated from it. So I got to work with these 4 very beautiful women, and we were able to provide the next class of student leadership development uh, attendees the best leadership experiences that we could by helping them learn, by helping them gain skills, by helping them realize the importance of leadership. This slide is entitled Personally Motivated Like Prince Adam. Now, a lot of people don't really know who Prince Adam is. Prince Adam is the human version of Beast, but we only get to see him at the very end of the movie after Belle proclaims her love for him. Then when that happens, he finally transforms into his human form, Prince Adam. Throughout his time as Beast, though, he remains personally motivated to make Belle fall in love with him, so that they can break the curse over the castle. Now, this plays a little bit into positive social change. So positive social change is essentially advocating for equal and equitable opportunities regardless of any of your identifiers, meaning like regardless of your race, regardless of your financial class, sexuality, your religious beliefs, regardless of any of that. It's saying that we should all have the same equal and equitable rights. So we all should be allowed to marry, we all should be allowed to make decisions governing our finances, stuff like that. And so this is really important because if you have positive social change, then you're going to be moving forward. But where we're currently at now, there's not much positive social change happening institutionally. So we're still supporting institutions that are based on slavery and racist ideologies, and there's still this white superiority complex that a lot of businesses subconsciously deal with. But this also kind of goes into my why of being a servant leader. So I do leadership exercises and routines and learn skills and grow because I think being a servant leader is very important. So when you're a servant leader, you show that leadership through service to others. So as I'm learning and growing and becoming a better servant leader, I'm taking those skills that I've acquired and I'm teaching others those skills. So I'm serving them by teaching them skills that they can take and they can go out into the world and do great things with. So I think being a servant leader is very good because you get to interact like firsthand with change agents, with people who have the desire to make a positive social change. So being a servant leader directly impacts your ability to be a change agent for positive social change. So in the picture on the left, that's a picture of me and my closest friends that are all in my major. We're all peace and conflict studies majors, which is, I think, a very good program for us because we are change agents. We love going out. We love learning about conflict and how we can solve conflict and such. The picture on the right, was my graduation from the Student Leadership Development Program. This was my group that I got to work with for an entire year, and we went out and we helped start a nonprofit through the community college system, and we just were given the opportunity to become better servant leaders. My final slide is entitled Setting Future Goals Like Aladdin. In Aladdin, in the very beginning, when he first finds Genie's lamp, he sets the goal to set Genie free. In the end, he fulfills that goal and sets Genie free, affecting not only his life but also the Genie's. Like Aladdin, I have set future goals. Some of my future goals are being an agent of change, supporting differences, and making the first step. These are all important to me because they will help my character develop and grow. Being an agent of change, I can advocate for better changes in society and in the environment, in the communities. Supporting differences is beneficial to learn because it can help me kind of erase the differences that people see in each other by supporting them. And everyone has their strengths and everyone has their weaknesses, and no one should be put off or shunned or left out just because they're different. And making the first step is important for me because I've never been one um, to lead unless I absolutely had to. So learning that it's okay to take the first step, it's okay to be a pioneer, that a lot of the great decisions that are made are from people taking the first step. So that taking the first step is very important when you need to get things done. This picture is when I was the student government president at Randolph Community College. This was my delegation, and it was right after we had won the top campus award for our campus. And it just reminds me that setting goals like my goal of becoming the SGA president are very important because it helps keep me focused and it helps keep me on track. Thank you again for letting me present this PowerPoint to you. I would like to thank Jess Webb and Sean Copeland for being amazing mentors and amazing coaches over the last year, both with Silver Leadership and also with RHA. They've been invaluable and their insight has been amazing. I'd also like to thank April Marshall for helping me stay on track, especially with the change that we've had because of the coronavirus. So thank you again, and I hope you enjoyed.